Whoops, we're not in the middle, we're just floating around. You get that sometimes, just floating around, trying to get the badges and all the rest of it. So now we've got something really interesting. So we're going to make it full colour. Paper size is standard, of course, in the original setting. This one's got to be an A3. It's a bit wider than an A3 and a bit shorter than an A3. But let's have a look, see what we're going to make it. This will be an interesting one. So, going to darken it. Background removal, and take that out. So, background colour, what are we going to use for this one? Brown. I think brown would be the right colour. Then we're just going to go here. We just landed on hue for some reason. I don't understand how that happens. Strange things happen to photocopiers with me a lot of the time. So I'm just going to... This will be an interesting one. So I'm going to go copy density, sharpness, okay, color balance, okay, let's get there. And then we've got to go back, we've got to reduce. So the reduction will be a fixed ratio, even though this isn't fit onto A3 as much as you'd like it to, but it can't. It's standard size. It is. It's another LP, and this one's the many mogs of kilowatts, but that synthesizer that's been drawn looks more like a VCS Synthi or whatever, VCS 3, I don't know. I'm not as much of an expert on synthesizers as I am on making creative use of photocopiers, but basically, yeah, this is, they often use, even though it's not a Moog synthesizer, it doesn't look like a Moog synthesizer, sometimes they use the word Moog even when they're using another brand of synthesizer, because Moog was the original one. That was the original make of synthesizer that became commercialised, and to make money they still called it a Moog, even though it's not a Moog, because Moog is like a real fad. It was a real fad back in the 70s, and the baby boomers, some of them at least, would probably know about it. Back in the late 60s and early to mid 70s, if I'm correct. And it's like that. They use, I don't think that's a Moog synthesizer. It looks like a hand-drawn caricature of a VCS3 or whatever it was called. Another kind of synthesizer that was commonly used back then. So it's not a Moog. It's not a Moog from what I can tell. But they just use the word Moog because that was very popular. So I wonder what we can do with that and make it even better. So we're just going to go here. The many Moogs of kilowatts. But they might have had, maybe some of the other synthesizers were Moogs as well. So, you know, a lot of synthesizer musicians like to use multiple synthesizers to create a more richer palette of sound. So I don't know if they had other synthesizers as well. I'm trying my best to select an alternative colour for this. I'm just wondering, camel? I don't think so. Oh no, my alarm's going off again. Oh, for fuck's sake. I always get caught out, I always get overtime. This happened yesterday. I'm going to have to turn that fuck off because I don't want to upset my neighbour. So I'm just going to turn it off and just hopefully remember what I had to do when I get that message or that alarm. So that's 5:30 now in the afternoon. So I'm going to probably just spit this one out and then attend to what I have to attend to. One of my regular things. But anyway, that's the green. So I'm wondering whether I could just call it quits, or maybe just call it quits. I can't forget to do my activity that the alarm has got lit off. Anyway, toodaloo.